Hello everyone. In this video I will build on the classification we've made in the previous one to illustrate the power of pivot tables and a few important things about the different classifications we just made. So to do this, I will first select the whole table. So if you are anywhere in the table, one way to select a full table is to do Control A or Command A, and as you can see it will select the whole table. Or you do as I did in the previous videos, you go on the top left of your table and you do Control Shift right and Control Shift down. I think that actually I made a slight mistake. For Mac users it's another command, but I will provide you with the different shortcuts in both for Excel on both operating system. And once you have selected your table, so you will format it as a table. Okay, just briefly, here as you can see it is strange, it did not format the way you were expecting. It's because I put in white all the cells, and if you want to get the actual formatting of your table, you need to remove the fill for that table. And last thing I will do about this table, I will change its name. So name manager in formula, it called it table 2, and I'd like to call it classification. Okay. So now that I have renamed my table, I can create a new spreadsheet that I will call pivot table, and I will insert in that spreadsheet a pivot table based on the data from the table classification. Okay. So now I have my different categories, the amounts. I will take the amounts, bring them in my values here. Right away I will format my amounts as a currency. So I clicked on the arrow here, click on value field settings. I'm satisfied with the sum, but I want a different format. I want currency. I like when negative numbers are both red and between parentheses, and I will remove the currency sign. Okay. Okay. And now I will start to filter and organize my costs. So the first thing I want to do is that I want to add cost here as a filter, and I only want what is a cost. So I select in my filter those that are classified as yes for a cost. Then I'd like to compare a bit my different classifications. For instance, I can take the nature of my cost. So I click on it, maintain the click, and drag it down there on rows, and I can see that I have 63,000 of cost of worth of depreciation, 107,500 of external services, 160,500 worth of labor, 235,000 worth of material, and I pay about 34,000 of lease. And so that's basically the classification that financial accountants mostly rely on. Now, instead of nature, I can also compare my classifications in terms of inventory ability. So we have downstream period costs, manufacturing costs, upstream period costs, and traceability. And here I'd like you to notice that virtually any cell could be filled. So this one is not, because it's a specific feature of this example, but the important point here is to understand that traceability and inventory ability are independent classifications. So you can have any combination of the two. The last thing I'd like to show you in this video is how to use conditional formatting to make your tables more readable more quickly. Because when you look at numbers, honestly, numbers are difficult to understand. When you look at numbers, you do not really get an idea about the actual magnitudes of the different costs in front of you. So what I like to do is to give some visual cues about this magnitude. And to do that, you can use conditional formatting, which is in the Home ribbon. So for instance, I will select the figures I want to compare. Here I'm interested in knowing where most of my costs fall, in which specific combination of categories, and how much of those costs, what proportion falls into those. So there are several ways, several formats you can use for that. So you select your cells, you go in the Home ribbon, then in conditional formatting, and you can choose data bars. So pay attention to what will happen in the pivot tables as they go on one of those. As you can see, it will add a bar, which the size of which is proportional to the magnitude or the proportion of the costs. You could also use color scales. So the highest cost will be more red, the lowest cost will be more green, or you can use the other colors. And that's a very nice tool to actually have an idea about the proportions in your tables. So here, right away, I get that most of my costs in this particular company are direct manufacturing costs. Then the second biggest one are indirect manufacturing costs. You also can design your own formatting for specific cells. So to illustrate this, I will go back in my table here, and let's say that I want in this particular column yes to appear in red because it is a cost, and no to appear in green. So what I will do is I will select the cells I want to conditionally format. I will go in conditional formatting, and I will make a new rule. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it. I usually use data bars and color scales, but you also have nice icons that can, give a more specific meaning to the cells you format. But here, what I want to do is a new rule. And more specifically, I want to format cells that contain a specific value. So more than a value, it's actually a specific text. And I want that if the text is yes, so specific text containing yes, I want it to format the cell with a red background. Okay? Okay. And as you can see, everything that is yes is red. But right now the no is not formatted because it did not recognize no. It's not part of the conditions. So I can add another rule. So Home ribbon, conditional formatting, new rule. And I follow the same step. Format only cells that contain a specific text. Here the text is no. And I want it to format it in green. Okay. Okay, and here we are. And what is nice about that is that you can have a look at your tables and very quickly visualize their content. Okay, so that's it for the videos on that part and on classification and formatting. And in the next videos, we will continue building on that example of the mojitos and the Cosmos to illustrate the different allocation methods. So stay tuned for the next videos.